There we go.
Settle down. No fit.
I think they can hear us. Normally we're muted right now.
Hey, we're going to review movies tonight. Hey, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Real to Real Talk. I am Sergio Barrera, and it's time once again to talk all things movies. Joining me, as always, is the other Real to Real Talker, Paul Britton. Paul, welcome. Welcome, welcome.
Yeah, man. This is one I've been waiting for 3 weeks. 4 weeks, maybe even longer since I first heard about this movie coming out. I've been jazzed.
Oh, I hope you feel the same after we're done. Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks since we've been together. Thank you for holding down the fort last week.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. Yeah. And already, goodness gracious, we have folks joining us as Nick Kramer says, yo, back to you, Nick. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah.
I believe Blair's also out there.
He's out there.
Paul, tonight we're just going to review a couple of movies.
Yes.
We don't need the themes and all kinds of stuff we typically do.
No.
We just want to get right to reviewing a couple of movies that came out this past week. One that has one of the longest titles of a film I've ever had to deal with. Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yes.
And we will also be taking a look at a little movie called Ambulance.
Yes.
I never heard
Ambulance. Yes.
Two movies that were recently released that we're going to talk about, and I have a feeling we're going to talk about them in very different ways. So,
I don't
know. So, I have a feeling that the movie you were referring to when you said you've been looking forward to it for several weeks is Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
Just talk to me about why. What was it that really excited you about this film?
Well, okay, the trailer. Honestly, this is one of those where the trailer went viral in November-ish, December-ish time frame. It was just one of those things where it's like, oh my God, what is this movie? It looks amazing. Give it to me now. What are we waiting for? If you can make this trailer, you can just bring the movie out today and everyone will be happy. And let's do this. And then it had a release date at the end of March, and they did a slow release where it was it started in major cities, and then it hit a couple other cities, and then it got wide release this past weekend. That needs to be communicated. I feel not fair to people with expectations that don't live near Chicago. I don't know why Miami would not. I totally would have driven the 40 minutes down to Miami and seen this with Blair. I would have gone. Even I would have considered going 2 hours up to Orlando to see it. That's how much I wanted to see this movie, and it was frustrating. I'm not even gonna lie, it was frustrating, and then it's so my expectations for this movie were very, very high.
Okay, all right, fair to say. So the reason I ask is because I might be the only person on this planet who wasn't moved by the trailer. I just every time I came across it in any capacity, and you and I are watching movies week to week, and now that we're able to. We're heading to theaters now and then, right?
Yep.
And every time this trailer popped up, okay, great, And I knew that we were going to talk about it, so obviously, going out to see it was a must.
Sure.
But I had paid attention to so many people talking about, how much they were looking forward to it, and so, okay. It was finally time to get to it. We had to wait a couple of extra weeks, like you said, after its initial release. And one of the very first things that I think we need to comment on is just what an amazing cast this is. Michelle Yeoh, obviously. We're talking about people like James Hong, who, you said it before we started, still going strong at 93 years of age.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis. We're going to talk a bit about Stephanie Sue. And in his first film since Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, we get Ke-Huy Quan. I know it's not the first one since, but
Yeah,
I thought to myself, this is the kid from Temple of Doom.
I know. He also appeared briefly in Armageddon. Don't,
Yes, absolutely.
come on.
I know.
He's been doing stuff.
Yes,
He's
he
been
has.
busy.
Yes, he has.
Yeah, but
And
this is
so
his first major role in a
right,
while, in a long
right.
while. Yeah. Yeah.
There are things about this film, because again, we're here to review it, give you our thoughts, those of you who are listening, and we thank you for joining us. And then we're going to put a rating on it, but we always encourage you to watch it and make your own decisions. Because Paul, here's the thing.
Yeah.
This film, I guess what I'm going to address first is the absolute way in which people are being moved by this film.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of reaction. It's scoring very high. Last checked, Rotten Tomatoes had it at 96%.
Yeah.
It's highly, highly revered. So I just right from the outset, I want to get started by getting your thoughts, because this is one of those movies that I think we have continuously seen you and I land on separate sides.
Okay.
Right. So I've been waiting since I saw it to really get your thoughts. So how do you want to start this discussion? Because this is a very complex film.
Sure.
That tries to do a lot.
Yeah, it really tries to do a lot. And I'll start by saying the guys who made it made another movie that I'd done as a What the Hell Did I Just Watch? Which was their last big movie. And it's a directing pair of Dan Kwan and Daniel Scheinert. Yeah. And they did Swiss Army Men.
Okay.
Or Swiss Army Man, which
I remember that.
Starred Paul Dano and Daniel Radcliffe. And it was a really weird movie. And so like they know how to make weird. That one, I didn't care for the ending. I felt like it wandered away, but they understand weird, they understand not necessarily conforming to standard expectations on how a movie's going to go. And I'll be honest with you, I was really surprised that this kind of like was just like, we're doing weird stuff, but we're going to stick to standard how a movie progresses. It really was a very by the book movie with weirdness around it, with chaos around it, and I was surprised by that. And the good guys are clear, the bad guys are clear. The bad guy can, there's redemption possibility. It's like, yeah, but then. By the way, Michelle Yeoh has, access to every infinite possible outcome of her life based on every moment of decisions that she makes, and the slight ripples and changes in her life that will result in. And I honestly felt like it was tame. Like, I'm not even kidding.
Explain.
I feel like it tapped into it picked 6 primary alternate realities for Michelle Yeoh's character Evelyn. So it picked like 6, I think it's 6 primary alternate realities for Evelyn, and just kind of like these are the ones we're focusing on. And especially when the idea is she has access to anything, any possible, she's a movie star. She's, a person who spins signs at she has hot dogs for fingers, and, and all of and she's a chef at a Benihana, all of these possible realities. And it's like they didn't decide, they didn't, there are a couple of sequences where it's like she flips through a whole bunch of them, and it's just like boom, boom, boom. You get quick snaps of them, but like they don't pull in from as many possibilities as they could, considering their possibilities were infinite. Instead, what they have is they pick like 6, and they're like, and they really delve into a couple of them too. Like, it's like there's probably 3 primary realities. 4. We'll say there's 4 primary realities. The primary reality number 1 is the one that we're watching. Primary reality number 2 is Evelyn is a movie star. Primary reality number 3 is Evelyn with hot dog fingers, and primary reality number 4 is Evelyn is the Benihana chef. And they really dive into those realities pretty, like, we get a really good idea of what her life is like in each of those realities. And I was surprised by that. Like that seemed a little more restrained than what I was honestly expecting for the movie.
Okay. I'm with you. I'm really, really interested. I mean, I find it curious that you thought that was restrained, because this movie for myself was an extreme exercise in chaos. The editor of this film either loves to edit or was driven crazy by the director's requirements for what this final product should look like. Because and let's be clear, I understand what the goal of this film was, what it was trying to explore in terms of character and multiverse type things. Paul, what the heck was this story about, man? Like, what was this movie supposed to be about?
Okay. It was about there being infinite possibilities.
Yes. Absolutely.
And not destroying it. Like it's a superhero movie. It's a Marvel superhero movie. It's just like, look, one little thing can destroy all realities. Let's not do that. Let's not do that. Let's not destroy realities. Let's just keep everybody's realities separate and let them move forward unencumbered by somebody deciding that screw all this. Because ultimately the ultimate problem for the main villain is that life is pointless. Like no matter what happens to you, none of it has any meaning. Okay. And the problem is that, yes, that's true. But destroying everything just because it has no meaning ultimately isn't the solution. Like that doesn't solve anything. And so it's basically just like, look, whether we have hot dog fingers or we're a Benihana chef,
there's value in all of it.
There is some value, even though ultimately it's meaningless. Like,
so my question of what the heck was the movie it wasn't because I didn't understand the film. The problem I have the biggest problem I have with this film is that in its quest to make a statement, it takes you through so much muddy ground that unless you are really I go back to what I initially said. The trailer didn't do anything for me. I wasn't really interested in this film. I did go in with an open mind, as I try to do, and was made even more frustrated by this film because of the chaos of the editing and the what I consider to be not a restrained approach at all to this film. Now, if there is a saving grace for this film, and I think this is going to be one area where you and I agree on, the acting in this movie by this particular cast is some of the best I've ever seen. And understand, when I listen, if I were to ask you just flat out in 2 words, what did you think of this movie? What would you say?
I would call it controlling chaos. Like,
did you enjoy it?
I did. I absolutely did. And I feel like, it's interesting that for you there was chaos, and I agree that there was chaos, but I felt like they really did everything they possibly could to present chaos and then give it order. And I feel like they succeeded in that. Like, look, I just want to give you a counterbalance as an idea. Like, think of the way they present the primary villain. Okay. That is utter chaos. Okay.
Sure.
The way they present the primary villain, it just utter chaos, absolutely nothing. You're not given any backstory to any of the very multiple realities that
Right.
person's tapping into. You're not given any ability to have any frame of reference. Whereas it's the exact opposite with Evelyn. With Evelyn, when she taps into an alternate reality, you are given like, okay, this is what that person is experiencing. Whereas with the villain, you don't get that. It is just literally, the villain is the chaos, and Evelyn, really does present the counter to that, to the extent of, okay, it's chaos, but it's the meaning, and that's what I was talking about.
Gotcha. Okay. So if I were to give you a 2-word summation of my feelings on this movie, it would be hated it. But since I've seen it, and there are people who I've talked to who are going to be like, okay, but you said you hated it. I did. I would never see this movie again. It did nothing for me. But if I'm going to find something of value in this film, it's the performances of, like I said, people like Michelle Yeoh, obviously. Keo Kwan has a brilliant few moments in the latter part of the film, in the sequences in the where she's a movie star, right?
Yeah.
There's some deep stuff he's doing there that I'm like, why is this man not used more?
Yeah.
But then you bring me Stephanie Hsu as Joy Wang, and wow. I mean, her portrayal of the daughter, I cannot sit here and say I didn't like this film and not say that her performance was off the chart amazing. So I guess where I'm disappointed is, and I knew it was going to be a multiverse theme. I get all that. Nick's making some great points as to how he viewed the film and its meaning. The bottom line for me was, I wish this had been a more straightforward story, because I saw all kinds of things. If you looked at just the daughter if you looked at her as being the central character, right? Then there were so many themes in this film that you had to sit there and go, is this what this is about? Or is it about this? I saw things that related to potential suicide. I saw things that related to the emptiness of a life that feels wasted. I saw so many thematic items that could have made for a beautiful film, right? But I guess where for me it was lost was just the way in which it was chosen to be structured and put together.
Okay.
I had, I've spent the last year mainly trying to. Joshua makes a good point. Josh makes a good point. Maybe this is what I missed out. It was about everything, everywhere, all at once. Okay. And I don't mean that sarcastically. I was like, okay, maybe. It was, I don't know. It was so tough to follow in terms of feeling settled into a story, right? And then when we finally get to the resolution of it all, it was like, that's it? Like, and so.
But yes.
And again,
that's the point of the movie. Yes,
sure,
that's it.
Sure. I get that's what they're. I get that that's the point they're trying to make. It's just that the journey for me was just too all over the place. I mean, again, it's a preference thing. But
I genuinely feel like they were restrained and could have gone.
Wow. I'm surprised. I'm surprised.
And I was really ready for it to go bonkers. Like,
okay.
I was shocked at how many times they revisited the same universe. I felt having those 4 primary alternate realities anchored, gave the movie an anchor that it might not have necessarily needed, but B helped propel Evelyn's journey without really being over the top bonkers, because I don't feel like it was over the top bonkers. I really genuinely feel like it was controlled chaos.
Okay.
And I think, and that's why, I was I was genuinely mildly disappointed that it was controlled. Like, I was really genuinely ready for like insane, like just total and unbridled insanity, and it was very much bridled insanity in my mind.
But
Like,
insanity nonetheless.
oh, absolutely,
Because
absolutely insanity.
Nick
Nonetheless,
asked the question that I had in relation to your feeling about it being not bonkers enough. I mean,
right.
you know,
So yeah, and so okay, so here's what I'm talking about.
okay,
Okay, so they have this reality where people have hot dog fingers,
right.
and they actually take 10 seconds to explain why people have hot dog fingers. Okay. They which is not
I
something they
must
need
have
to
missed
do at
that.
all. What's that?
I must have missed that.
Yeah, no, they show the like they said they flash a thing and says 10 billion years ago or 10 million years. They flash a thing and
Oh,
says 10 million years ago, and
okay.
they show, the evolutionary turn where there were these, proto humans that some of them had big long fingers and some of them didn't, and the big long fingers beat up on the people with the proto humans with not big long fingers, and so they explain it like
Oh, wow.
this is what happens.
I
And so
missed that
but
completely.
they didn't have to do that, but they
Right.
did it. Like, that's
Yeah.
what I mean by controlled chaos.
I might have just not cared enough.
Okay, they took the 10 seconds to explain that.
Yeah.
And then there's the one scene where Evelyn, like literally you're seeing flashes of Evelyn. They probably show like 100 different, they focus on her face. It's just her face, and then like quick change, quick change, quick change.
Yep.
And at one point, she's a stick figure. And it's
Right.
like, you could have spent more than 2 frames of film on stick figure Evelyn and like have something happen with stick figure Evelyn, but they didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't do that. They presented, so it was hot dog fingers bonkers, yes,
Okay.
but they explain it, so it takes away some of the insanity by explaining it.
Okay. Agree to disagree. So,
Okay.
yeah. So again, and this is where I was looking forward to this conversation, because one of the things you and I tend to do is, if we differ on something, then we're going to give each other's perspective. And for me, if I look at this movie from the standpoint of, okay, let's review it. Would you, what are your thoughts and so forth? I'll always recommend a film.
Yeah.
We committed long ago that we were never going to tell people to let us decide whether you watch something or not. I think where for me this movie just wasn't my cup of tea, and I don't think it was effective, was because despite its theme and despite the goal it was setting out to use to tell its story, it was just too frenetic. It's skillful editing. I can't deny that. It's some fantastic, when you look at just the mechanics of it, the shooting of
the set pieces,
the set pieces, exactly
amazing.
All of that is undeniably good. But when I sit there and when I'm going to commit 2 hours and 20 minutes to being told a story, it's got to make sense, and it's got, and maybe that's the thing, is that this just isn't my style of film.
Look, you're talking to somebody who's seen 3 different versions of the movie Brazil,
right?
So and enjoyed every single one of them and found something to like about each one of them, even the theatrical release, which some people are like, oh shucks. No, they're all good. And which is why I'm saying, like, I genuinely, like, your expectations were clearly going in and wanting to be told a story. My expectations was literally, there will be no story. And the fact that there was more story than I expected and far less story than what you expected shows you what expectations can do, which, by the way, is part of the message of the movie. Just don't have expectations. Like, literally part of the movie is like, don't expect to get anything out of anything, because each little choice can lead to just so many different realities, and every choice has a consequence.
Gotcha.
That's literally it. It's every choice has a consequence. And and the crazier the choices, or the more important the choices, like run away from home, don't run away from home, the bigger the variance from where you end up. Like, if I just decide to have a banana for breakfast instead of my normal banana and yogurt, That's a choice, and there are going to be minor consequences to that, i.e., and I run out of yogurt a day earlier than I expected. I have to go to Publix as a result a day earlier. I end up getting in a car accident that I would have avoided otherwise. Like all those things could possibly happen, but it's because I didn't have yogurt for breakfast one day and I wanted it the next day. Like, it's just that's how crazy it could have gotten, and they didn't delve into that. Like
I'm glad they didn't, considering it was almost 2.5 hours long. You wanted a 5-hour 2-part film, so yeah, no, I get it.
Blair
and
has something to say. I'm going to show this up.
Oh yeah, I saw that. Right. Yes, that is a perfect capture, Blair, of what I'm saying. Because again, if we had done this review the night I got home, I'd have been angry. Like it was, I was just like, what the, what did I just spend my life doing? But as the days have passed, and in anticipation, and I saw this on Tuesday night, so I've had a couple of days to think about it. I cannot deny the craft that went into putting this film together, right?
Mm-hmm.
But and that's why when we get to taco ratings here in just a moment, it's going to be, it'll probably still be a surprise. But at the end of the day, did you enjoy this film?
Who, me?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
Okay.
No.
All right.
I'm gonna say 95%. Like 5% of me really, really wanted them to go further. And I don't feel like they went for it.
Okay.
Which is great. Which is great, because I do think that it makes it more accessible. Like I think if they had really gone for it, like it doesn't get 98%. It like gets like 60%, because 30% of the people are just like, there was literally no point. Whereas, even clearly people recognize that there was a good family cathartic point in this movie, and anybody can appreciate family catharsis. So
there were some very relatable themes here. Absolutely. Again, obviously by now everyone understands I did not enjoy this film. But again, and I say this because a lot of lovely people commented, and actually one of them is here commenting, Josh, commented on my post about the film, how much it moved them and how much they enjoyed it. And so I want to go on record as saying I completely understand and respect that, because I can see how a film like this will impact people and I'm glad it did. So as we move into our taco ratings for Everything Everywhere All at Once, those of you who watch, we do a 5 taco rating system here. A movie can get as many as 5 tacos plus guac if you want to give it some more love. Don't let my tacos influence you. Paul, we'll start with you. What is your rating for Everything Everywhere All at Once?
Sure. So I genuinely started at, like, I went to the movie like, this movie is getting 5 plus guac.
You were ready. Yeah.
I'm giving it 5. I am not giving it 5 plus guac. I am giving it 5 tacos. It lost the guac by I felt like, because they constrained themselves to these 4 realities, there were parts of it that it was just like, it felt anchored at certain points where unbridled insanity might have actually worked better. But yes, I'm giving it 5 tacos.
All right, fair. I was convinced when this was over. Josh says 5 plus a slice of jalapeno. I love it. For myself, I came home that night in a 1 taco kind of mood because of how much I did not like this movie. But again, as I analyze it, and this goes, and I hope folks believe this. This rating comes from having had no other further reading of articles and other people's opinions. I truly have just thought about it and gone, okay, if I'm honest, what will my honest rating be? I cannot deny the craft behind this film. For me, even though I didn't enjoy it, I've got to respect it, and I'm giving it 3 tacos.
Oh, wow.
Because anything less would be to dismiss what is some creative filmmaking, some fantastic acting, and just an overall decision to create whatever film it was they were setting out to create. So to give it any less would be to cheat that and I can't do that. So 3 tacos for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
And we do have to say, Hollywood, James Hong is 92 years old and is
still
so much better than Clint Eastwood at 92. So can we stop letting Clint Eastwood do things and just put James Hong in anything that he wants? Like, we need to keep getting James Hong out into stuff. Like,
well, gee, can we also give some love to Jamie Lee Curtis, who, come on, this is one of the most creative roles. The work that she did in this film is just so beyond what she's used to. Yeah, again, I can't. Yeah, I can't.
Hey, but you know what? We got to move on because we have enough.
We do. But let me just say this before we do that. That's okay. You can leave it up. I am very much looking forward to the next movie that has a multiverse theme. So I'll just say
yes. Oh my God. I
the real multiverse.
I went and saw, so I went and saw this next movie we're going to review in IMAX because you have to understand, there are 2 movie theaters close to me.
Okay.
And the nicer movie theater is 5 minutes further away, but has an IMAX theater. So yes, I am traveling the extra 5 minutes to go and paying extra $8 to see it and seeing anything I can in IMAX. Absolutely.
Ambulance.
Yes.
The movie we're about to review.
Watched it in IMAX, baby.
Kudos,
and they had a trailer
they
had a trailer for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. And I'm just flat out telling you, I might end up seeing that twice in the same weekend just because of how insane I am. So stoked for that movie.
Don't be surprised if I do.
But let's talk about Ambulance, because
I have a feeling we're gonna land on opposite items here too.
I don't think we are.
No? Okay. All right. Well, I'm already looking forward to sharing my thoughts because of a comment Nick made about, can we give Ambulance negative tacos? No, we cannot. So ambulance. Why can't I pronounce that word?
Because the LA are different colors.
Right. Is Michael Bay's latest. Michael Bay, known for some of the most insane action films out there. Some great, some not.
Yes.
And he comes out with a film.
Yeah.
You what?
I hope I never get another Michael Bay Transformers movie, but that's okay.
No. In fact, there's at least one film we've covered in that series here. Surely, given the number of years we've been doing this. Ambulance stars Jake Gyllenhaal and other folks. Okay, let me just start by saying this. This was Michael Bay trying to be Michael Mann for 2/3 of this story.
Mm-hmm.
And finally getting to a point where he's like, fuck it, I'm Michael Bay.
And then for a minute, it's like, you know what? Maybe it could be James Cameron. And then, no, wait, I'm Michael Bay.
I'm Michael Bay. Did you feel like he sort of restrained himself for a while? Like he was trying really hard to construct a fair to decent film?
Yes.
Okay.
Momentarily.
It wasn't just me.
He definitely
he tried hard.
And honestly, the one knock I would give this movie is that attempt. Like, because that aspect of it goes so off the rails. That aspect of it is just, oh my God. And okay. So, I love it. Let's just do a quick our relationship to Michael Bay, because Sixth Underground came out in December of 2019.
Absolutely.
On Netflix. And we did a review on that. And we actually came to very similar opinions on that, where it was like, Michael Bay's doing something really weird here, and he's making an R-rated movie and it just doesn't work.
Right.
I'm here to tell you, if Michael Bay wants to make an R-rated movie, these are the ones. This is it. This is where you go. This is what you do. But just be Michael Bay. Like,
right.
You know, if you cut out a half hour of this movie cut out his attempts to be other people and just be Michael Bay, I'm flat out telling you it would be like Armageddon level Michael Bay. But that extra half hour, okay. I mean, I don't know how. I don't know how to talk about this. I could talk about everything everywhere all at once for an hour. I I have one thing to say about this movie, and that I was literally laughing out loud hysterically during the emotional climax of this movie.
Oh God,
because it was so laughably dumb.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was so laughably dumb. But then
it was so
literally 5 minutes later, I'm like, oh, these action scenes are just so fucking good. Like, these action scenes are so good. How do you
I'm giving myself whiplash just agreeing with you.
How do you make a movie with these perfect action sequences and such a bad story?
Very trite.
Such a bad, and you made Armageddon, so you know how to make a good simple story. Like Armageddon totally works. Okay.
Yeah.
It works as but it's really simple. Ambulance, the story of Ambulance doesn't work at all. On no level does it work.
Because it makes no sense right from the outset.
Right from Jump Street, it's just like, what?
Yeah.
So,
but this again, to what we're saying, the thing for me on this film, again, action sequences out the wazoo, fantastic. But and it's funny because I was kind of fooled for the first 30 because I was like, this is very restrained, like, wow. But then you very early on got the Jake Gyllenhaal that you knew was going to go completely like off the rails, like overacting. That was projected very early. If you took the time, and this is the thing that I make the mistake with Michael Bay, is I think about the plausibility of plot. And of, and somewhere along the way I seem to expect better dialogue, but there was a point where I thought he's really like holding it together here. He's really keeping it restrained. When is this going to like actually become a Michael Bay film? And it just took so long. Act 1 is the heist and it's degeneration. Act 2 is all the drama regarding the state of the person in the ambulance that's being that's in danger, so much else. But by the time you get to Act 3, you have gone through so many heart attacks with the action sequences that when the movie attempts to resolve itself, you're like, I don't care, just chase the freaking ambulance. That's all I care about.
So let's just both agree this story sucked. Like
absolutely.
This was, so Roland Emmerich earlier. Have you seen Moonfall yet? Did you end up seeing that?
Not yet.
So
Prime wants me to pay $20 and I refuse.
Okay, it'll come down eventually and you will see it.
Yeah.
And the things that this movie and that movie have in common is that the stories suck. But where this one goes and wins is like because it uses almost zero non-practical, like the computer and the CGI in this movie is almost non-existent. These are all practical effects.
Absolutely.
And it's so amazing to watch a movie that has no CGI.
It's all
and at the same time introduces something that I don't recall seeing used this extensively in action set pieces. Uses drones.
Drones, absolutely.
Everywhere.
Absolutely.
So where Moonfall falls apart with the story and then has absolutely nothing to offer that's special or spectacular with its set pieces, Ambulance is just the opposite. It's like the story is horrible, is laughable, and just dumb.
Right.
But god damn, these effects were.
And listen, amazing. I'm someone, you know this of me, that I'm someone who will forgive plausibility of plot in an action film, but it was just so heavy-handed that I was like, okay. But again, what saves this movie, in my opinion, for myself, is that first obvious drone shot. I was like, oh yes, here we go.
And the number of times we got a drone going over a building, spinning, and then coming down.
Exactly.
I'm in.
It didn't get old.
It never got old.
I was waiting for that to get old.
Didn't happen. It was like, yeah, let's keep doing it. Wait, it got to the end and it didn't happen like in the third act. It didn't happen once. I'm like, can't we do that again? Like, what?
Did you catch that in this entire film there was one explosion? One. After,
It was
after 6 Underground being
though.
nothing but. Yeah. It was. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Again, this is where I say, listen, Michael Bay will never win the Best Director. He will never win Best Picture.
Not ever.
But here is a guy.
Yeah.
Here is a guy who commits to his mode of storytelling.
Yeah.
And his skill is action sequences. And that's the bottom line for this movie.
I have this is not hyperbole. I have a genuine question.
Okay.
And this I'm being serious.
Okay.
Does this movie set a blueprint? Because let's keep in mind, this movie had a $40 million budget. Okay. Right. Whereas, his last Transformers movie probably had like $120 million budget. I'm guessing probably. Yep. This movie had a $40 million budget. I would watch this movie probably 100 times in a 4-day span just to never see another Michael Bay Transformer movie again. Okay. And another Too Fast, Too Furious or whatever. If I never had to see another Michael Bay movie or Fast and Furious movie, I would watch nothing but this movie for a week.
Sure.
And just have it on a constant loop.
Oh yeah.
Does this movie change the way that effects are done going forward?
I agree. Completely agree. And that maybe is what he set out to do.
It's a question. Do you think it does? Like, do you think we're going to start seeing drones and more practical effects?
Absolutely.
Because I do. I think we're going to see a renaissance of practical effects.
No, I 100%. Yeah. Because and we will never know the mind of the man and his motives, but I really think that he was challenging himself to be completely do something different, right?
Yes.
Because think about it, how formulaic are his films?
Super.
And while the formula was there, the tropes were there, there was new stuff. And the drone stuff is and the practical effects, visual. Yeah, exactly.
Visual new stuff.
And yeah, no, I absolutely think that this is going to change the game, which makes me excited because I think there has been a span of time in the last few years where action movies just didn't fully commit to the notion of being silly action movies. And Michael Bay continues to do it. And this is one of the movies that when it is available on Prime and it's not $20, I'm going to add it to my library. I liked this movie. I really did.
I will absolutely watch this movie again.
Absolutely.
No doubt. And I'm telling you right now, if I'm flipping through channels and Ambulance is on Showtime or HBO or whatever, I'm going to go and fucking watch Ambulance.
Yeah.
Why? Because you could hop into any part of this movie, unless it's only got a half hour left, because the last half hour is me. The last half hour is me. But like, man, that second act, and I'm going to laugh again because the laughable parts are just atrociously, horribly laughable.
Absolutely.
Like the worst, oh my God. Are you fucking kidding me? We're dialing in trauma surgeons via
so ridiculous.
And they have an app that displays the fucking vital statistic. The second they flashed the vital statistics for the patient on the screen, it's like,
what are you talking about? Yeah,
we're just doing this now.
It was so brilliant because again, you Michael Bay, I'm sure doesn't hire the kind of people that'll be on the set going, but Michael, like you can't, you're fired, because he's gonna do it.
Yeah.
I mean, and you're looking at a guy who considers Con Air to be a work of art. I love this movie.
Oh, so. Sure. I just have to say, I want to like this movie more. And I don't want to laugh hysterically, an hour and 20 minutes in.
Yeah.
I don't want to be laughing at your movie an hour and 20 minutes in. Like that needs to be there. Somebody needs to come in and be like, we can absolutely remove this. And the movie loses absolutely nothing. And this scene that's supposed to be an emotional climax and super exciting is not good and does absolutely nothing for the movie. And just somebody needed to, somebody at some point needed to be like, Michael Bay, I understand you're Michael Bay. We're taking this out. It's not necessary. We're taking it out. I loved, another thing I'm taking out, Michael Bay. We don't need the FBI agent to know the master thief. In fact, guess what? We don't need
We
an
don't need
FBI
the
agent
FBI agent.
at all.
Exactly.
We don't need him. If you're going to have him, we don't
Oh,
need him to pop in an hour into the movie.
that was so wedged in.
It's just
It was hilarious.
there are so many things that just don't work in this movie, but
Yeah.
then there's so many things like I saw, and I'm going to steal this. So, we're not at ratings yet. Are we at ratings
Okay.
yet? Are we
No,
ready to
go ahead
rate
and
it?
finish your thought, then we'll go to ratings.
No, because it's part of ratings. So,
Oh, is it? Okay.
yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Well, yeah. So I'll start this time.
okay.
So when it comes to this film, again, I'm always going to love a well put together action film that has fantastic sequences. So it's automatically going to win at least a couple of tacos from me.
Right.
But I also have to, there were some things that were just, I can't go beyond a certain threshold. So I'm going to give Ambulance very tasty, totally packed, great cheese, great hot sauce, 3 tacos. Okay. This is an action movie I'll revisit. But I'm also going to be, I'm going to be honest and say this is not the kind of film that is going to win any awards for anything. So 3
does
tacos.
It get nominated for best effects because it uses nothing but practical effects?
I don't know. I think it's too early in the year for it to even be remembered.
It won't. It's
not going to.
I'm going to answer my own question and say it won't, but it deserves it because it's totally different, and it's different from anything that anybody's doing. My nightmare, by the way, is CGI drone.
Oh God, no,
like that's good, and that's going to happen for somebody who's like, well, we can't really afford a drone, but we can CGI it. It's like, oh, don't.
No, you can afford a drone.
You can afford a drone.
No, okay. three tacos, and I forgive so much, Michael Bay. Continue doing what you're doing because I will watch your movies.
Okay, so if I were rating a movie, okay, this would be, I would say 2 tacos plus guac. And why? Okay. Because it's a 2 taco movie, but the effects get the guac. However, I'm not reviewing a movie. I am reviewing a Michael Bay movie. And so I'm stealing this from something I saw online, which was somebody said, like, you can't just give a Michael Bay movie stars because you're comparing it to something that things that cannot be compared to anything else. Like you can't just say like, oh, well, as the movie construction, it just, no, that's not the conversation. So you can't give them stars or tacos. You have to give them Michael Bays. Like, Michael Bay gets his very own rating.
Wow.
6 Underground. I would have given 6 Underground to Michael Bay's because that's what it deserved. I gave it 2. I think I gave it 2 tacos and an equal rating on Michael Bay's. Armageddon, Con Air are 2 perfect 5 Michael Bay's. This one, I'm going to display the tacos, but it really is Michael Bay's. This one gets 4 Michael Bay's.
Wow.
4 tacos.
Wow.
And because the effects are the best effects I've seen in a movie in 2022. And part of that might be because I had seen Morbius the week before, which just had the worst. The worst special effects I've seen in a movie in a long time. And this one, did nothing that Morbius did, just went exact opposite direction, and it totally worked. So it gets 4 Michael Bays, not really 4 tacos, but I am saying it gets 4 Michael Bays.
That's fair.
And honestly, just stop with the surgery on a fucking
on a moving ambulance.
A moving ambulance.
And hey, listen, the realistic moment of like, oh God, can you slow it down? Can you slow it? and then everybody's just hanging back. Like, oh yeah, okay, cool. They're gonna slow down.
And the idea that a splenectomy would take anybody, let's say 5 minutes in real time is beyond, like, just
Michael Bay.
Don't do that.
People got to see this movie, man.
Bay.
I loved this movie. I really did.
I know.
It gets.
You
knew I would too.
How many Michael Bays would you give it? Like, so realizing that we're not judging it on its content alone, but it's Michael Bayness.
On its Michael Bayness. I would do your 4 plus guac. I really would.
You would do 4 plus guac. Okay.
Yeah. Cool. If you only rate it within the context of
Michael Bayness,
right? it works. I mean,
Yeah.
it's his style of film,
Yeah.
and like you said, he adds a new mix.
Right. And like just for frame of reference, also like Moonfall would have gotten like 2 Michael Bays. It's just like you can't just throw stupid things out there and say, look, this isn't this dumb and fun. It's like, yeah, sometimes it's dumb and fun, and sometimes it's dumb and supposed to be fun, but it's not.
Right.
Whereas
Right.
Ambulance is 100% dumb and fun.
Absolutely.
So
Well, okay, real quick then, because I'm man, we should use Michael Bay's for any other action movie that we ever do.
I'm down.
What would you give The Rock?
The Rock, see, I prefer like that one is my 4 Michael Bays plus a Roland Emmerich, I guess. I don't know, like what it's not going to be guac. It would be,
Gotcha.
It's the 4.5.
I love
I'm not quite as big on The Rock as a lot of
Okay.
people are.
Yeah.
I prefer Armageddon. I prefer Con Air over The
Gotcha.
Rock.
Okay.
So
it's 5 Michael Bays for me, because that
Okay,
is
cool.
one of Con Air, Armageddon, all those. Yeah. I think from now on, we need, when we're rating an action film, we're gonna adopt.
I saw that.
Michael
I
Bay.
saw that on this Facebook group I'm in. I'm like, that's fucking brilliant.
Let's make sure we give credit to whoever that was, because
Yeah,
that's brilliant.
The big picture is the group. I don't remember the
Okay.
individual who did it, but yeah. So
Well, kudos to them. We thank them for the Michael Bayness.
Yes.
So, all right. Well, there we go. We got a little bit of time left, so let's talk about one of my favorite segments of the of every week, and that is a little look at something we call "What the hell did I just watch?" Paul, what the hell did you watch?
This is something I watched, I think 2.5 months ago. It was right after the Oscars were announced, and I was just like, I'm going to eventually have an opportunity to slide this in, and I didn't. And then like we never had the opportunity where we were having a conversation about an Oscar movie or anything like that. And we had some plans, and the plans just never developed or whatever. Yeah. So I am presenting to you a movie that you've never heard of from 1979 called Quintet.
All right.
And this is a movie directed by a person you have heard of, Robert Altman. You've heard of him. And starring another person you've heard of, Paul Newman. You've heard of him.
Got it.
And so that's the Oscar tie-in. These are both people who have not just won Oscars, but like honorary Oscars. Like they are the peak of the peak of the peak. They dedicate a 5-minute segment to the Academy Awards ceremony to both of these people. And they made this movie from 1979 called Quintet. So I'm going to read for the synopsis from IMDb. During a future ice age, dying humanity occupies its remaining time by playing a board game called Quintet. For one small group, this obsession is not enough. They play the game with living pieces, and only the winner survives. And the movie is as dumb as that. you hear that and you think, God, that sounds dumb. And guess what? It is. It's that dumb. And some interesting things about this movie. So it takes place in a future ice age.
Yeah.
Robert Altman insisted that the entire movie be filmed in freezers. Like literally, like the sets were all freezers. And so everybody was really fucking cold and miserable throughout the filming of this movie. but goddamn, if you didn't see their breath the entire it's like really realistic for what it's worth. And here's the thing: if you're gonna base a movie on a game or something like that, where like the people are playing a game, it helps if there are rules presented. Like the thing about humanity is we love games. We don't like games without rules. Like if somebody sat you down to play chess, which is exactly what Quintet is kind of presented as, and it's basically a chess game where instead of playing one versus another, it's 5 people playing chess at once. And where this movie falls apart is they don't explain the game. Like there's absolutely no bother to explain this is what's going on behind the game. And it's just like it's just this movie is ponderously bad for the people that are involved in it. It's like, how could Paul Newman and Robert Altman make a movie this just inane. It's just, and I love apocalypse movies. You know, we've talked about this before. End of the world movie. Yes, I'm in. Give it to me, please. God, just have it make sense. Like the people are killing each other because they're playing the game of quintet in real life, but who knows how they play quintet? I don't get it. Why are they,
that's the thing you got hung up on.
I did. But I think genuinely, because it's like people are killing each other, but why? Like, there are literally like their society is built around this game, but there has no rules. Is that the point of the movie, that life has no rules? And like, I don't get it. Like, if you're going to say that life is a metaphor for a game, great. Now what? Quintet people, I'm telling you, it's amazing what talented people can railroad. It's just
I'm reading about it, and apparently Roger Ebert gave the film 2 stars and called it a puzzlement and not a very interesting one.
Yeah, exactly. It's ponderous. This movie is 100%, like, it's who okayed it? Did they read the script? Did anybody read the script? Even Robert Altman. I think who wrote. I think he was involved. Yeah, like he was involved. Like, why? Like, why is Paul Newman? You know, and it's like, oh my God, I don't get it. Stop.
This is the most visceral reaction I think I've ever seen you have on this segment.
Because it's Robert fucking Altman.
Oh man. So you're saying it affected you? So
in all wrong ways. In all the wrong ways. Like, this movie should have been amazing. Like, it's an end of the world movie with Paul Newman.
Right.
And it just
didn't work.
No.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Well, this is why you do these things.
Yeah.
This is why you watch these films. No, but yeah. All right. Well, and where did you find it? Where if people decide to watch it?
I had to rent it on Amazon. But yeah, you can go out and find it on Amazon. Or did I find it on YouTube? Honestly, again, I literally watched this in January. So I don't remember. It might have been on YouTube. Now that I think about it, I think I found this one on YouTube.
All right.
No promises. You could go and look for it on YouTube, which would be free and awesome. Or worst case scenario, I think it was on Amazon. But yeah, it's out there. You can find it. I found it.
There you go. Well, you can
find out. Recommend it if you just want to see a train wreck of how does a genius make a train wreck. It's Quintet. Go watch it. Yeah.
All right. Well, if you want to know what other weirdness Paul is watching, make sure you join us week to week, because trust me, it is never dull. So
I wanted to address something really quick.
Okay.
Blair asked, can non-Michael Bay movies get Michael Bay's 100%?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
100%. And Roland Emmerich absolutely will get Michael Bay's. Paul W.S. Anderson would qualify for getting Michael Bay's.
Mm-hmm.
But just know, the best at it is Michael Bay. Like, even though Roland Emmerich would get 5 Michael Bays for Independence Day.
Right.
You know, absolutely. 5 Michael Bays. But
we are adopting this. Absolutely.
Yeah, he misses more often than Michael Bay in my mind. Gosh,
does that mean that we're going to use Michael Bays for Doctor Strange?
No.
Okay.
That's not a
it wouldn't have felt right.
Yeah, it's good enough. Like, it's good. We might have to pull the Michael Bays out for Top Gun, though.
Oh yes,
that movie looks like an absolute train wreck. I don't know what they were thinking when they did this.
I'm going to watch the original because I want to be fully prepared to count how many similar things are going to happen in this second film. So. Because the trailer alone already tells us that's going to happen.
It's going to be one callback after another. it's just, they should have called it, instead of Top Gun Maverick, they should have called it Top Gun Callback.
It should be called Top Gun Why.
Yeah.
Okay, look, Blair, love you, buddy, but this comment, we're gonna have words.
Don't put it up. He doesn't get it. he fundamentally doesn't understand what Michael Bays are and where you give them. And
we'll work with him.
We're not giving any oxygen to that comment.
Okay. Well, yeah, no, but thank you, Blair, for always being such a great
people
participant.
Go see Ambulance on a big screen if you action movies at all. If you care about action movies at all, Ambulance on a big screen.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I'm still reeling at the fact you watched it on IMAX, because I would not have even considered that. So now I'm wondering, well, because it's like, okay, this is not, for me, this isn't a film that I think IMAX worthy, you know.
How far away is the closest IMAX compared to your other theater?
Oh, I've got several IMAX opportunities. I'm just saying, it's just one of those things where this is just sort of a by the numbers action picture.
Like, this is what IMAX was made for. This is why you go to the IMAX theater.
I guess I just hadn't given it that much thought because it's a Michael Bay movie. So.
I'm going to see Top Gun in an IMAX theater. I don't even want to go see Top Gun. I don't even want to see the movie, but I'm going to go see it in an IMAX.
I need to. Well, and you know, the other thing I'm doing, Regal has their, their, you pay a monthly fee and unlimited movies. So yeah, that's one of the things. That's because I'm cheap. But yeah, I think you and I should, what we should do is we should discuss in advance and agree, okay, let's make sure we see these in this one in IMAX. That way I can make the plan.
I'm going to go see Doctor Strange in IMAX. I don't care what's going on.
I will make sure that happens as well.
Carving out to 3 hours to go see, I don't know how long the movie is, but travel time and everything.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a done deal. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, I will just leave it at saying that it's been a fantastic conversation as always, Paul. I'm looking forward to next week. Where are we at with next week?
There's a Harry Potter movie coming out.
That's right. Secrets of Dumbledore.
Yeah.
Dumbledore. So we will review all of the Harry Potter movie. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so
we are going to have it. You've seen them all, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Spoiler alert: we might have a Harry Potter episode next week.
Cool. I wouldn't mind. Those are fun films.
Yeah,
and I get to tell you, I'll get to tell you the story of how I didn't want to ever watch them. So
excellent.
There's a funny story there. All right. Well, to all of you who have, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to promise everyone we will not be talking about Father Stew next week. So that's a promise.
Gotcha. That's funny. Oh my. All right. Well, to all of you out there watching, we thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate those of you who stop by, comment, and so forth. I really enjoy these comments that folks leave us. It's fantastic. So thank you, Blair, Nick, and others. We're going to keep doing this week to week because we have fun doing it. So make sure you get out, watch movies ahead of time so you know what we're talking about. And don't let us sway you. Go out, watch these films, and have some fun. Paul, it's always fantastic. I look forward to next week. So
absolutely.
As we always say to you out there, you're awesome, you're amazing, and the world's a better place because you are in it. We'll see you next time on Real to Real Talk.